Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fanrun Radio.
Tony Basilio live with you on the one, the only. Boy, what a difference a day can make, huh? As we're live with you in your Rainier studio, first thing I want to say is congratulations to Josh Heupel in Tennessee. Well played. Really well played. They had a bunch of us, myself included, on the wrong trail. The name we kept hearing was Ryan Walters, so I don't have to call Ryan Williams anymore. Thank God he's out of the picture. Today we're going to give you total team coverage on the Jim Knowles deal. Let's start here. It's not done yet. The Penn State thing is kind of interesting. You know, this is big business now. When Penn State hired Jim Knowles away from Ohio State last year, it was one of the huge stories of the offseason. If you'll think back, Penn State had just come off a national semifinal. This was thought to be their way of saying, we are here. We are going for a national championship. We just took a guy away from the national champion, a national championship defensive coordinator at the height of his powers in Jim Knowles. Penn State paid the guy $3 million a year guaranteed on a $9 million guaranteed contract. That is unheard of money in the defensive coordinator world where things have gotten expensive. I think what's interesting here is that, and by the way, shout out to John Reed, who late last night in the middle of the night did a video like late last night, because I woke up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and watched what he and another feller did, and those guys are hustling. So good stuff. When you're when you're doing a morning show and then you're doing a late night video, that's some pretty good dedication. Shout out there. That's some crazy maniac stuff there. What's going to be interesting is how expensive is this going to get for Tennessee to get home with Jim Knowles? And as I've told you before, every dollar counts. You know, every dollar in this thing counts. There's not an infinite amount of money in the world. And the less money you spend on your staff, the more money you can spend on your payroll. I mean, it just kind of stands to reason. But we're going to unpack this Knowles thing from side to side and back and forth. He's still employed at Penn State, and that's kind of the rub. Now, Matt Campbell's bringing his defensive coordinator with him. Penn State has essentially, it's all semantics, right? But he's still employed there. And I guess from Penn State's perspective, the reason they didn't cut him loose is, why would I cut you loose and pay you $6 million when we know somebody's going to come a-calling on you? And if somebody comes a-calling on you, are they going to pay some buyout money? I mean, that's a pretty little interesting spot we're at right now. So they're working through that. And look, these schools and these athletic departments are going to have to learn to cooperate with each other in the two leagues. Penn State and Tennessee are in the same league, essentially. Because when the Super League happens, they're going to be in the Super League, and we all got to learn to get along. And we're going to borrow and hire coaches from each other down through the years, and we're going to take players off each other's rosters. And, you know, we got to learn to get together and play nice and all those things. But Jim Knowles, barring the unforeseen, and yet, because it's kind of like when we were talking about the Williams guy, you just whose name isn't Williams but Walters. But you never say uncle till you see uncle until you see, hey, so and so is signed. It's just my nature down through the years of learning how to do this. But well played, Josh Heupel. You have me in the dark, which is good stuff. I own that. We endeavor to give you what we know as we know it, when we know it, and nobody bats 1,000. But Jim Knowles is a terrific hire if Tennessee can get him. Now, it's a nuanced hire, and I'm going to bring Matt Dixon in here without further ado. Matt and Bri are both with us. But it's a nuanced hire because when you do some legwork on Knowles, and I did a couple and a half hours worth of legwork on Knowles last night, making several calls, which you'll see over at tclub.team, the work that I did on him. And I think I present a pretty balanced picture of a guy that I would call a very loud pop for Tennessee. This is a win the press conference hire, but it might be a take a little step backwards next year hire to take a step forward in subsequent years. The question is, and this is always the question in the sport, is do you have the time to take a little bit of a step backwards? And Matt, what am I talking about when I say a little bit of a when we start talking about tempering expectations? Matt, what am I discussing? As we discussed in our pre-production meeting, would you please unpack that?
Well, there's some first year growing pains with this defense. It's kind of complex, and year one's not. You don't just hit the ground running. But even having said that, you're going to be an upgrade over what you had defensively this year. I mean, you were just awful all around this year. So whatever you have next year, it's not going to be a step backwards. You're probably not going to be a top 25 defense, but even if you're just top 50, that puts you in position to win 8 or 9 games and challenge for the playoffs again. But there is a year one. There's some growing pains with this defense, but after that, he's had elite units everywhere. A proven track record. Was a longtime defensive coordinator under David Cutcliffe, which is kind of interesting.
Yes.
We've talked about how vital Cutcliffe was to Fulmer, and how that Heupel kind of needs a Cutcliffe. And here's a guy that was the DC for Cutcliffe, which is, I think, is interesting. Been at Ohio State, Penn State, left Ohio State after winning the national title because he got sideways with their kind of longtime defensive line coach, who's basically been there, Rodney Garner, for like 20 or 25 years.
That's right.
So they kind of got sideways. I think it was after the Oregon game last year.
Coach Johnson.
Yeah, so one of them was going to have to leave.
Yeah.
And it was easy for Knowles to find a spot, but it's a great hire if you can make it outside the box hire, and a proven name and a proven guy that's pretty proven and can be kind of that disciplinarian. And bring any sort of disciplinarian, any sort of real coaching that your defense gets is much needed, because Tennessee couldn't do anything last year.
Tennessee was uncoached on defense last year. Now,
they look that way. Yes.
Here's a couple of interesting things, and we are going to bring a guy on who's a premier authority on Knowles. Steve Hellwagon's going to join us, and Steve is with Ohio State's 247 site, Bucknuts. He's been up there for a long, long time. And he's going to give us kind of the good. And then, with all these hires, there's always a little bit of something. But he finds this to be a really coup for the Vols. And I'll let him unpack that for you. A couple of questions now come to mind, which are, okay, so how heavy-handed is this guy in terms of I want to bring my staff with me? Well, the good news is when he went to Ohio State, he didn't bring a bunch of people with him. He just kind of coached with who was there. When he went to Penn State, digging into that, he brought a couple of staffers with him who were what we call in today's day and age, what's the term we use, Matt, for these guys?
They're analysts.
Analysts. Thank you, Brian. Get that right. So I brought a couple of those guys, but no position coach guy. He just basically coached with what was there. I wonder, Matt, what happens here. Because obviously he probably is going to have some leeway in terms of how this is going to go. The book on him, Matt, is that he's not a real warm, fuzzy guy. He's not a get-to-know players guy. He's sort of a no-nonsense mad scientist in the laboratory guy, Matt. Kind of like Heupel's a mad scientist and laboratory guy, Matt.
Yeah, but the no-nonsense stuff, kind of that disciplinarian, again, from the Cutcliffe tree.
Yeah.
I think that's much needed within Tennessee's program, especially on the defensive side.
Yes.
You have an identity on offense. We can debate, how finesse or physical that is. I think they are a little bit more physical than they get credit for. But on the defensive side, you were extremely soft this past year.
Yes.
You looked uncoached. You just were a very poorly run defense that didn't do a whole lot well. And this guy has a track record of doing it. I mean, yeah, if you want to ignore the Ohio State stuff, I think that's kind of fair because he had 5 stars everywhere. But he had Oklahoma State with a top 3 defense his last year there in 21.
Yes.
And so he's, and he obviously didn't have a bunch of 5 stars there. He probably barely had any 4 stars. And that was back when the Big 12 was still a really good offensive league. So I think it's a great hire if it goes through. Like you said, kind of the contract stuff. The one thing that's interesting with that, James Franklin had that like $50 million buyout that they negotiated it down. I think it wound up being like $9 million for him to go to Virginia Tech. So
yes.
I think, that's something you can probably get worked out over the next couple of days because obviously Matt Campbell has his own kind of unique 3-3-5 stuff that he runs with his longtime defensive coordinator, and it just wasn't a fit there, which, of course, now the Michigan job's open, and Matt Campbell, took Penn State this week, which is interesting.
And by the way, he was waiting
for
that.
Michigan.
Yeah, he was waiting for that Michigan gig for a long time. So who knows what happens there? And maybe we'll get Hal Wagon's take on that as well in our B block coming up. But Matt's right. The 1 year at Penn State, when you look at the numbers, and look, I was talking to some people that were saying that their defense was pretty confused at times last year, and they lost some late leads. I mean, we tried to create a pretty balanced picture of what you're going to get here. I think it's a great hire, and I think it's a risk worth taking. The question is our fan base going to be patient next year if we end up going 7-5 because this guy's got all new parts, trying to play a new way against a pretty unforgiving schedule, and Penn State at times got kind of lost in this guy's defense. They just did. And probably they have better material than we're going to have next year, if we're being honest about it. Now, go ahead.
You had Franklin gets fired kind of unexpectedly mid-year.
Yeah, you're right.
The year one stuff is very real. You can look. It's they take a huge jump from year 1 to year 2.
Huge
everywhere
jump.
he's been.
Huge jump.
But Penn State had better material. I'm not quite sure Penn State was as good defensively as people thought. They didn't have depth on their defensive line and had some injuries at linebacker.
Good point.
But you went 8-4 this year with an awful defense. So I know you got to temper expectations, but the 7-5 stuff is, that's like very, very bottom of the barrel, bare minimum what you need to do. But but 7-5 and 9-3, the difference in that in today's game is just 3 or 4 plays.
Well, that's right, Matt. And the other thing is the schedule's extremely hard next year. It just is. So we have to face facts.
Yeah, but half your league opponents have a first-year coach, too.
Yeah, but Lane Kiffin's going to bring a hell of a team in here. We know that.
Many of them are going to be changing offenses. So,
again, guys.
That'll be a good chess match.
Guys, let's get real. These first-year coaches, some of them are going to bring – Lane Kiffin's going to bring a hell of a team in here. Come on now. Let's get real.
Yeah, he'll have Sam Levitt, but if he plays at Ole Miss first, he might not make it out of there alive.
Interesting. So the scheme this guy plays is interesting. You have to think, with the 4-2-5 thing that they do, that he does, how many pieces do we have right now that will fit, which will really help? I'm hearing Arion Carter is going to go ahead and try his luck in the NFL. We'll see what happens, but that was the plan as of yesterday. Just kind of poking around. I think he's going to forego the bowl game. We'll see what happens. We haven't heard of any opt-outs yet, but Tennessee's going to have my understanding is 2 or 3, maybe 4 guys. And talking to some people, he's been playing with turf toe and 2 feet, so that can't be fun for him. And he wants to get ready and just get on with his life's work, as Chuck Noll once said. So there's a lot of interesting moving parts here. There's very little time to get there. We've got a special guest who joins on the other side. It's Steve Hellwigan. We're going to break this thing down scientifically. We're going to move right to left across your device on a day where we congratulate Braylon Staley becoming the 3rd player in program history to garner SEC Freshman of the Year honors. That is a phenomenal accomplishment for him. Joins Jamal Lewis in 97 and Peyton Manning in 1994. That is nothing to sneeze at.
I guess that's decent company.
I'd say that's pretty good company.
It's all right. That's all right.
I'd say that's I think I would call that kind of all-time great Tennessee royalty company that he's in. But we take a brief time out and come back with more. We're going to unpack what Tennessee is going to see from a guy who's been on the ground at Ohio State for a long, long time, and Steve Hellwigan. We continue with more. On the other side, Jim Knowles is now the center of this thing as we continue with more after this.
Living Vol fan, make Alumni Hall your one-stop shop for all your Vol fans on your shopping list this holiday season. There's nothing better than getting your favorite Tennessee gear under the tree. Picture it, a nice polo shirt, a new hoodie, something for the man cave. Pop in and see my friends at Alumni Hall. Best selection of Tennessee gear. Alumni Hall, 3 Knoxville locations. Bristol, Johnson City, Murfreesboro, or online at alumnihall.com. It's easy to have a big orange Christmas. And happy holidays from everyone at Alumni Hall. The ultimate volunteer shopping experience. Alumni Hall.
Calhoun's invites you to leave the cooking to us all holiday season long. Between now and the end of the year, feast without the fuss when you host at the holidays. Don't you dare cook. Go absolutely next level with this offer. Between now and the first of the year, Calhoun's is offering an incredible deal on delicious turkey or prime rib dinner. You could feed from 5 to 10 people at your home holiday gathering, not lift a finger of preparation. The turkey dinner comes with amazing sides like mashed potatoes, peas, melt-in-your-mouth gravy, dressing to die for, fresh rolls, cranberry sauce, and homemade cheesecake. And the prime rib dinner features amazing melt-in-your-mouth prime rib, fresh mashed potatoes, au jus, green beans, gravy, rolls, horseradish sauce, and delicious fresh baked cheesecake. This amazing offering is available now through the new year. Call to place your order today. More information found at holidayfeedpack.com. Again, that's holidayfeedpack.com. Feast without the fuss this holiday season with Calhoun's, the taste of Tennessee.
When it's time for your next move, you want to get your precious belongings from point A to point B with your peace of mind intact. That's why you need to call my friends at Gouffon Moving and Storage, East Tennessee's moving legend. Gouffon Moving and Storage has been helping East Tennesseans move since 1887. That's 138 years, 5 generations. That's even longer than the Dooley, Jones, and Pruitt era combined. Gouffon Moving and Storage, pro movers, serving Knoxville, surrounding areas, and interstate moves too, both residential and commercial. And we'll provide you with
personalized service that other corporate movers simply cannot. We know how to move all types of items. We pay careful attention to our clients' valuables. Your satisfaction as a customer is our absolute priority. As the oldest continually owned and operated family moving business in the United States, when it's time for your next move, it's Gufan Moving and Storage. And storage, it's secure and vaulted. Our newest offering of commercial storage logistics, we offer receiving, storage, and delivery services for all your business logistic needs. See more at Gufan.com. That's Gufan.com, or check out the link at tclub.team. When it's time for your next move, East Tennessee's moving legend, Gufan Moving and Storage.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires, just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776, or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Holiday cooking? Holiday guests? Your drains will be working overtime. Avoid clogs and backups this holiday season with Pipe Wrench. We'll clear your clogged drain for $99. Guaranteed to work or it's free. With Pipe Wrench Home Services same-day service guarantee, our certified plumbers get there fast and have the tools and expertise to clear the most stubborn clogged drains. And if we can't clear it, you don't pay for it. Have other plumbing or HVAC problems? We make it easy with free on-site estimates on replacements and free second opinions on repairs. So call or schedule your appointment online at pipewrench.com and we'll clear your clogged drain for $99 or it's free. We are committed to keeping your home cozy and worry-free this holiday season. Pipe Wrench Home Services, trusted in Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and neighboring communities for over 20 years. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free. For residential main lines only and requires clean-out access. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
TB here with Alan of WeShipFloors.com. Tell them about it, Alan.
Hey, I'm Alan from WeShipFloors.com. Our competition's prices, well, they're going up. Ours are coming down. Our waterproof floor Supercore is the best, and right now it starts at $199 a square foot. Our warehouses are full of 4mm, 6mm, and 8mm. You strapped for cash? Well, we have our own in-house financing. Use our room visualizer and order some free samples today. Supercore from WeShipFloors.com. Best products at best price.
Like Alan said, head over to WeShipFloors.com. Use the room visualizer on the website. Drop in any of the 120 Supercore floors virtually into your room and order your free samples today. WeShipFloors.com. Tennesseans, they are us. The best product, the best price. WeShipFloors.com. As promised, ladies and gentlemen, I want to give a shout out
to Crazy Mark in Columbus, who is crazy, and he is in Columbus. But Steve Hellwagon's in Columbus as well, and he's covered Ohio State for a long, long, long time. So he's seen him come, and he's seen him go, and he's with Bucknuts, which is the 247 site up in Columbus. And Steve and I were just talking off the air about just how crazy the sport is now, and the sport is absolutely nuts. So Tennessee, in one sense, last year is playing in a playoff game against Jim Knowles, and less than a year later, he's on their radar, and they're about to hire him. And I guess you never say never, Steve Hellwagon, but I welcome you in and wish you the best at this holiday season. Appreciate you doing this for us on short notice.
Yeah, no problem at all. I'm glad to be here. And like we were talking, I mean, I've been doing this for a few decades, 3 decades, and it's just when you think you've seen and heard it all, then something comes out of left field to completely change it. I mean, a guy abandoning a playoff team to go to a conference rival, a neighboring state conference rival. I mean, that's who in their right mind would give up a chance at a national championship, a viable chance, and walk away. And then you have this situation at Michigan and just everything else that's happening. It's just, in one regard, it's sad. And on the other hand, it's like, this is our way of life, I guess. I don't know how the other way to explain it.
Steve Hellwagon joining us. We're all going to go around the horn with him. Matt Dixon's here, Brian Hartman, and yours truly, Tony Basilio, as we look under the hood at the life and times of Jim Knowles. As I say that name to you, he's obviously highly regarded. It was one of the great stories of the offseason, one of the huge splashes when he was with Ohio State and leaves for the rival Penn State after winning the national championship last year, and Penn State paid through the nose to get him. If Tennessee's able to get home with Jim Knowles, Steve, from your perspective, what are they getting in him?
Well, you're getting an extremely intelligent individual. And I say that they had a guy, Tom Herman, everybody remembers, who left and went to Texas. And a few years ago, he was on the Urban Meyer national championship team in 2014 as the offensive coordinator. And they always talked about he was a member of Mensa. I'm surprised that Knowles isn't also a member of Mensa, because he's extremely intelligent. He's got a wry sense of humor. He does a really good job as a defensive coordinator. He's a veteran coach, former head coach at his alma mater, Cornell. And that'll tell you right there, he's Cornell educated from Philadelphia originally. And he's done a bang-up job everywhere he's been. I think even this year at Penn State, you really couldn't have a lot of qualms about their defense. It was, their offense didn't generate anything. And that, it was just kind of the way it was. But, obviously the quarterback got hurt too. That didn't help. But, he's a guy that, again, he's branded as a defensive guru and expert, and he can come in and change some things around, and things look a lot better on the back end, once he's got his system in place.
It takes a while, right? It reminds me of that old lyric from a song. It takes a little while to turn the Titanic around, and certainly Tim Banks' defense last year, I mean, we can get a history book out, but against Vanderbilt, it certainly you could probably refer to their defense as the Titanic, because that thing was brutal. So tell me about the learning curve with Knowles and why it takes a while. Because when I was digging with my Penn State, I'm from Pennsylvania originally, so I was digging around with some of my Penn State contacts, media folks, etc. And they say that at times the kids there were talking about how it was a confusing defense. It was hard to grasp what he was trying to get across. But they say in year 2 is when he takes off. What is it about? And did that happen at Ohio State as well? Do you find that to be accurate?
Yeah, I think the track record for him, he was head coach at Cornell 2004 to 2009. Then he worked at Duke for a few years. And then Oklahoma State was kind of, his big step up to the bigs, so to speak. I would say. I mean, Duke is obviously they played for the ACC championship this past year, but they don't have a pedigree of putting a winning team on the field every year. But what they found at Oklahoma State was it took about 2 to 3 years for it to take hold, for the guys to become veterans within the system, which is rare anymore in college football with people coming and going with the transfer portal and everything. But at that point, maybe it wasn't in the late 2019s, whatever that period. But he was the defensive coordinator for the one Oklahoma State team about 5 years ago that played for the Big 12 championship. And so that kind of put him on the map, that they had a Big 12 team that was actually capable of defending people. So they were the one. So he got a lot of credit for that, and that put him on Ryan Day's radar. And Ohio State needed a defensive coordinator. They'd had a guy, Kerry Combs, who, just as we talk about the maddening craziness of today's college football, he was just hired at Michigan from Cincinnati as the special teams coach 3 days ago. And somehow the administration at Michigan, I don't know if they knew this was coming down this week, but allowed him to bring somebody on board and then fired him. So for Kerry Combs, he's a former Ohio State assistant. I wouldn't say that about most people going to Michigan, but he's a good dude. So I hope everything works out for him. But it didn't work out for him as the DC at Ohio State, so they bring in Knowles. And, a lot of it is he put so much on the back end, the secondary. They played a 4-2-5, which everybody seems to be kind of fashioning now. And he put the safety in charge. Essentially the free safety is the guy who's telling everybody, what's happening, what's coming. And I think he called that guy the adjuster. He had names for each of these positions that, he crafted himself. I mean, it's its own culture, if you follow what I'm saying. I mean, he's got his own way of doing it. They had a middle linebacker named Tommy Eichenberg, who was an all Big Ten player about 3 or 4 years ago, and he really embraced it as another leader on this team. He and Larry Johnson, everybody knows that name, the defensive line coach, they didn't really seem to be on the same page with what Jim Knowles wanted to do. He wanted to have the fourth defensive lineman kind of be a hybrid linebacker, and that wasn't what Larry Johnson, had taught. He had taught pass rushing. He says he didn't know anything about this position that Knowles called the jack. So you're going to hear a lot about the jack in the weeks to come, trust me. But it's interesting, no doubt.
So the jack is like the jack of all trades, the guy that's going to be the hybrid out there. He's going to play linebacker, but he also wants him to rush a passer. We're unpacking.
Yeah, like a 230, 240-pound guy who can, cover in space and do all the other things, but is also instrumental on the pass downs. And he's not above going to four defensive ends either, in a let's say a third and long situation where there is no run threat. He will put, more Russians on the field. But, I'll say this. They were not very good his first year at Ohio State on defense. And I believe that was the year Michigan came in. Now, again, put a star by it. This was one of the years where they had scouted Ohio State in person several times where they played. And there's video evidence that when the signal came in from the Ohio State sideline, the entire Michigan sideline, as C.J. Stroud is going to line up, is telling him it's a run, it's a run, it's a run, it's a pass, it's a pass, it's a pass. So, I mean, that's just, what it was. But and the same thing was true over on the other side, obviously, when Ohio State signaled in an offensive play, a defensive play, they knew what was coming. So, any rate, that made it much more difficult for Knowles in Ohio State to defend Michigan in those games. But, Michigan hit probably 6 big plays against Ohio State. It was just a crazy game, and it got much better after that. Now, he and Day did have a falling out after the Oregon game in 2024, middle of last season, and they gave up a bunch of big plays to Dylan Gabriel and his wide receivers, and Day wanted things switched around, to how he wanted it to be. Let's don't, take as many risks and give up as many big plays. and the defense was one of the reasons why they went on that run. As Tennessee fans saw, last year they went on that run and won 4 games by double digits in the playoffs, and the defense really helped do it. So I saw the good and the bad with Knowles, and when it's good, it's really good. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I was told that, and I want to bring Matt Dixon in here momentarily. I was told, though, that at times, if you leave this guy to his own devices, he gets a little mad scientist-y with his schemes and some of the crazy things he'll try and do. If you can, is that fair?
No doubt. I mean, in that Michigan game I'm referencing, they had no safety help over the top. Like, they committed everybody to the blitz. So, it was an all-out situation, and it was an easy pitch and catch for Michigan, like a 70-yard touchdown. I mean, one break one tackle and gone, so, and no one's back there to help. I mean, and you're just looking at each other like, what was that we just saw? That in the down, it was, what was crazy was the down and distance. It's like 3rd and 10, and he's doing this, where if you just give him 6 yards, 7 yards, and force a punt and get off the field, you give yourself a chance to win the game. He's pushing all the chips all in the middle of the second quarter, and it just made no sense. It was nonsense is what it was. But, I think Day eventually worked his magic on him and said, let's just concentrate on doing this, and had some reins on him. So if Heupel does the same thing, I think Crazy Mark said, as we were talking about this hit, he's like, I don't think Heupel even knows where the defensive meeting room is, but whatever, it's going to be what's going to be.
That sounds like something that will come out of Crazy Mark in Columbus's. We got a new nickname for Mark now. He's Crazy Mark.
You said it, not me. You
said it. You called it. Well, yeah, that's right. I did tell you he was crazy before we were talking, but only in a real and profound way. Is still Steve Hellwagon joining us. So Steve Hellwagon is with the 247 site Bucknuts, and as you heard him say, he's been up there about 3 decades covering Buckeye football. And he's giving us a really, really balanced picture of what we're going to see here if Tennessee can get home with him and Jim Knowles. In major college football, as we know, you just never know when then we sit down and start talking about contracts. They're trying to work out the mitigation with Penn State and all that stuff. And they paid him a boatload of money, and he's still under contract there. Matt Dixon, jump in with us. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd just be curious. When Knowles' defense, or you kind of mentioned it with Michigan and some of the aggressive stuff, but when teams are having success against his defenses, is there any common themes that happen? Are there any things that maybe he just kind of struggles adjusting to in game, or like when it goes bad for him, which is kind of a relative term especially for Ohio State? Like what are there common themes that show up?
Michigan was about the only team that really trampled them running the football. And it was a pretty consistent theme. In the 4 games Michigan won here in recent years, they had outrushed Ohio State. And, in one of the games up in Ann Arbor, they held the ball almost the entire fourth quarter and had 120 yards rushing in the fourth quarter to put the game away type thing. So that was an anomaly. I would say that ordinarily, if they're going to lose a game with him as defensive coordinator, it's because they gave up 4 or 5 passes of, 30, 40 yards, that type of thing where they've left somebody on an island and they just couldn't handle, the assignment, playing against a good quarterback, taking unnecessary risks. I mean, that Oregon game in 2024, it was awful. I mean, they allowed Dylan Gabriel to do anything he wanted. And I'm sitting in the press box after he's completed 4 or 5 of these long throws. And then this national guy next to me said, the ball was at the 35-yard line. He said, you know what's going to happen now, don't you? I said, no, he's going to run for a touchdown right here. And sure enough, Oregon had kept them off balance, and Gabriel kept it, went around right end, and nobody was there, and he was gone. So, they tried to adapt to something that was going on, and they still didn't cover all their bases. So I think after that moment, he and Day had a come to Jesus meeting. And I'll get to the end of their relationship. I mean, they win the national championship, but in the week leading up to the Notre Dame game, he went in and said, I want to negotiate. He was under contract for 2025. And he said, I want to rip that up. I want to raise. I want this. You know, it's like the kid at the snack bar in Caddyshack. I want a hot dog. I want a hamburger. No, I want a cheeseburger. I want a Coke. And Ryan Day was like, we will get to that after the game. You know, just give us the time. And I think Knowles felt disrespected and immediately called Penn State, which he's from Philadelphia, and got Franklin on the line because Franklin needed a defensive coordinator. And, you know, Franklin, you know, convinced his bosses to pay the guy $3 million a year. So, you know, didn't take him long. They're having the celebration at Ohio State a week or two after the championship, and there's no Jim Knowles. And you're like, what's going on here? And then everybody's phone blows up that he's just been hired at Penn State while the celebration's going on. You know, it was just a crazy, surreal situation.
Wow. That's such modern college football, though, right? You got to,
yes.
You're celebrating a national championship over here, and a guy's kind of worried about his next. I mean, it is such a.
He's under contract too. He had a valid contract for 2025. They had stood by him, and you know, through the thick and thin and everything. And I do believe they would have worked something out. I mean, there may have been personality problems after that Oregon game, but you know, it's not, you know, show friends, it's show business. You know, I mean, you ain't getting the job done. Luke Fickell worked at Ohio State forever, and he's like, it's a very evaluation-friendly business. Either you did or you didn't. So, you know, he delivered the goods. And, you know, the thing that's sad is that, you know, he's not going to be regaled in Ohio State history, you know, as a great whatever, just the messy way he left. But the players now, they brought in Matt Patricia, you know, the former Detroit head coach.
Right.
And everyone's like, got a great relationship with Matt Patricia. And the guy who was here before didn't hardly even talk to me, you know. Well, nobody said that when he was at Ohio State, you know, but now by comparison, you know, his personality doesn't match up to Matt Patricia. I'm like, oh, goodness, this is what it's come to. So, you know, I don't buy into all that stuff. He's a good coach, and he'll do a good job wherever he lands.
Yeah, speak to that, because one of the things I hear about him, because Heupel needs sort of a guy that's not afraid to be a bad cop or not afraid to be a little unpopular. If you can elaborate on that, when you say that's him, elaborate.
That can be him, because he hits these guys with even his favorites. He hits them with the reality right between the eyes if something's not going right. So I think that's something that you honestly you got to have if you want to aspire to be the best. You can't rest on your laurels. Oh, we beat, you know, let's say Illinois this week. Boy, we're headed for big things. No, you got to be able to beat, you know, Michigan and Georgia and all these other teams if you want to be the best. So that was what he was always shooting for. I will say this: in the spring, he did a great job. He would do a defensive player of the day and put out on social media about that. And I think that was a real popular thing, you know, in the run up to the season. He would tell everybody publicly that this guy's going above and beyond. Sometimes he'd be a backup player. Sometimes he'd be the star of the defense. But, you know, I think the guys on the defense appreciated that recognition each day that, hey, I had a great practice and he saw it, and, you know, that type thing. That was kind of cool, I thought.
Steve Hellwagon joining. We're going to learn to speak Knowles here because he piqued my interest earlier. I always love this jargon. Jack is that outside hybrid linebacker, and that's where he got sideways with Coach Johnson, as you're talking about. Larry Johnson's father, by the way, for those of you keeping score at home, who ironically made his bones at Penn State while his father was coaching at Ohio State. But let's go back here, Jack. Give me some of the other terms that we're going to hear as we get ready for the Jim Knowles era here.
Yeah, you had the adjuster, who I think would be like Caleb Downs, the safety, the All-American safety there on the back end. They had guys previously like Ronnie Hickman, who's now in the NFL with the Browns, and different, you know, different players back there who would make those calls. They had the Bandit. I haven't committed it all to memory, and he's been gone a year, so I don't have them all down here in front of me. But the adjuster was the big one. That's the guy who, okay, they give him the call, and he reads it and reacts to it, and makes sure that they're in the right defense. And a lot of it is about trusting his players and giving them everything they need to go out there on the field and to stop. And obviously, if he doesn't put them in a bad position, sometimes with some of the calls, then they're going to be successful. They're going to have a high success rate. And again, it may take a year or two to really take hold, but I think the end will justify the means eventually.
Steve Howwagon, you're what we call a ball knower, as they say in the trade in these parts. You know your football, so if Tennessee's able to get home with him, if you could grade the hire of Jim Knowles and how he works in the Southeastern Conference, where this will be the first time he's been a defensive coordinator in the league.
Yeah, I mean, he's got ACC, Big 12, and Big 10 experience, so all he's missing now is, the creme de la creme, the SEC. And, man, what great challenges and great athletes and everything it would be. Obviously, they coached against Tennessee and Texas last year and did pretty well in those games, held them both in the teens. I look at it, he's not going to be a great recruiter. He's not going to be a guy who's going to go out and knock the socks off of high school kids and these kind of things. I called him Admiral Kilbride. People remember from NCIS LA, the LL Cool J show. The Admiral was the tall, bald guy, Gerald McRaney from, longtime actor. And he's almost a dead ringer for Jim Knowles. He knows everything. He's the smartest guy in the room. That's Jim Knowles. So, that was my name for him, was Admiral Kilbride. So, we'll see if he can earn his stripes in the SEC, where there are no off weeks, as we know. So it'll be fun to watch from afar to see how it takes, and you got to have players. That's the big thing, as we're all finding out. I mean, here's Indiana, terrible forever, and he brings some guys with him from James Madison who are used to winning. I mean, let's look at it. Their quarterback is from Cal, the running back's from Maryland. You buy the right guys, bring the right guys in, and you can win big, tomorrow. So that's going to be part and parcel of whatever coaching hire that you get.
By the way, in the current playoff tournament, which obviously Tennessee's not a participant in, but Ohio State is. Ohio State-Indiana was a hell of a game the other night. Indiana loses their rush end, a great player, maybe the best player on their defense. And now all of a sudden that's going to be a tougher task for them if they're going to get to where they want to go. Your thoughts on their loss, and then I want to ask you about this Michigan deal as well. But let's start with Indiana.
Yeah, Daly, losing him, he's an outstanding player, one of the top players in the Big Ten this past year, defensive end, and doesn't. I guess they've announced he's out from the playoffs. So that's a terrible loss for them. I look at it, their defense locked up Ohio State this past week. They showed Ohio State things that they hadn't seen all season, just disguising coverages and disguising, my goodness, the different pass rush packages they brought. Ohio State's offensive line had given up 6 sacks in 12 games. By the middle of the third quarter, they had given up 5 in this one game. So that'll tell you the job the Indiana defense did on Ohio State, averaging 38 points and only scored 10. So that was pretty ugly. But Indiana's got the quarterback. I think it'll probably be Mendoza to win the Heisman Trophy, although I think Pavia may have a shot as well. Certainly Sands not going to win it. So, right. And I can't imagine Jeremiah Love's going to win it either. So, but they deserve it. I mean, they made the plays to win the game. Ohio State certainly did not.
Sharon Moore yesterday told, and it's a sad story when you think of a family man comporting himself in that way with 2 young kids, and then how publicly it plays out. And not only is he fired, but he apparently was getting ready to commit a heinous act, if you believe what you read and what's in the report. But that is a human tragedy, man. That is just bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, you hope for all the people involved that they can find the healing that they need. Even the staff person who was involved.
Awful.
And then it sounds like she went to Michigan and made a complaint eventually, and that kind of tripped things in the direction it ended up. And certainly his wife and kids are now thrust into the public spotlight, and just unfortunate the way things have happened. And it would be real easy for me to dump on him, and he's not a favorite, obviously, of Ohio State people. A lot of the things, I mean, he was the interim coach or the acting coach, I guess, when Harbaugh was suspended in 2023, and he won the game. And first thing he says on Fox is, F something or the other, whatever, you can't effing believe this or whatever it was. And, not a favorite of Ohio State people, just put it that way. And plus he was involved in the cheating scandal as well. So, anyway.
Shocking. He would be involved in cheating.
Terrible, just a terrible situation.
What do you suspect on the way out, Steve Hellwagon? And I really appreciate you taking some time for us. I want to give you a chance to give your coordinates out so people can read what you do and interact with you. But what do you suspect Michigan does on short notice here? I hear a lot of people talking about Lincoln Riley and some other names, and obviously Matt Campbell would have made total sense for them.
Yeah, he's got to be kicking himself. He ended up at Penn State instead of Michigan. My goodness. Yeah. Kalen DeBoer, if Alabama is okay with him walking away, maybe Jed Fish from Washington potentially. Dillingham, the guy out at Arizona State, is put a winner on the field the last couple of years.
Yes.
I think they were the only team that beat Texas Tech this year. So, I see some names out there that are floating up. Biff Poggi is the interim coach for the bowl season here. They're supposed to play Texas on January 1st. So we'll see if they show up for that game. A lot of controversy, but they'll end up with a good coach, but they got to clean house. They got to break with the past and start over, anew. It may take them a year or two, but as Indiana said, they started at less than ground zero. They had nothing going for them. And here they are 2 years later, number one seed in the playoff. And I used to hold them up as my example. I said, there's a lot of schools that invest in college football. They could win the national championship. As an example, Indiana doesn't invest in college football. They're never going to win it. That was 10 years ago. I said that, and look where we're at today. So if you spend it, they will come, and you got a shot. So, I know Michigan will spend, no question about it.
I really appreciate you taking some time for us today. If you can, give your coordinates out, Steve Hellwagon, and how folks can find you.
Yeah, 24/7 Sports, the best network for recruiting and team coverage, and bucknuts.com.
Yep.
And Twitter at Steve Hellwagon with an E-N on the end there. So, yep, that's where we're at.
Hey, on the way out, this fella that we're talking about here, Jim Knowles, he's from Philadelphia, which is where I come from, and it's a town of characters, and it's a town of people that think they know everything. So if he wasn't doing that, he'd probably be a talk show caller to WIP and telling everybody his views and this, that, and the other. Is he a sports fan of other sports like the people are from up there? Because everybody there is just sick with all that stuff.
Yeah, he was a big Phillies guy, I think.
Nice.
One of the reporters was from Philly, and they were in the playoffs, and they were comparing notes about it. So,
nice. So he bonds. Yeah. He likes the Philly. So maybe I got a shot at cracking in there with him using the Philly angle.
Yeah. You got to wear him down a little bit, but wear your Phillies hat, bring him a cheesesteak.
There you go. Hey, listen, I really appreciate you taking some time for us. My best to you at the holidays. And listen, I'm not going to judge you because Columbus knows your phone number, okay? But Mark in Columbus is an absolute punk and clown if ever there was one.
No doubt.
Thank you, my brother. Good talking to you.
All right, guys. Be good.
Matt, your thoughts on Steve Hellwagon's appearance and just getting the totality of what we're getting into with this guy?
Yeah, pretty balanced. A lot of good information. So, it's there's always a risk in an outside type hire like this where you're kind of doing something different, but it's kind of a risk worth taking. And, like we've said before, you can't get any worse than what you were this past year. And if you can get through year one, you have a chance to be a top 25 defense, going forward. And that's really all Heupel needs to be in the playoffs, and potentially even make a deep run in the playoffs. So
here's that's right. So here's what we're going to do when we come back on the other side. Because listen, I used the term step backwards earlier. That's not – Matt's right. That's a misnomer. I guess my point is, in year one, if you're expecting the top DC in the world, and I think this guy's very good. He was the top hire of the offseason. And you heard Hellwagon say that things got so bad, which I didn't realize this, but that's why we brought this guy on here. Things got so bad with him and Ryan Day that he didn't even go to the championship celebration. Now, some of you are going to say, well, that's a pretty low-rent thing. But listen, here's the thing about life. When things get personal, they get personal. And I guess that guy went to him and said, hey, your defense is going to get us beat after the Oregon game, and you're going to do things my way or it's going to be the highway. And for him, it was the highway. After they sat down to renegotiate, and they told him, hey, you're getting paid what you're getting paid, and that's what you're getting paid. And he found somebody to pay him more. And, hey, that's the world we live in. And we all know that's the college football world we live in. He's not going to come cheaply to Tennessee. What is Penn State going to expect from us on this side of things, or from him and the buyout? And I mean, they're on the hook if they fire him for whatever. Do they just let him walk away? Do both sides just say, hey, I don't expect any buyout money from you, and you let me walk to Tennessee and they're going to pay me this, and who knows how it's going to work out. I don't pretend to know any of that. I do know that when things get personal in this deal, they get personal. And I also know that God has proven to me down through the years, God has a sense of humor. I live in halls, that's pretty much God proving his sense of humor. And I love my Hallsites, but they know what I'm talking about, and I know what I'm talking about. But the other thing is that, we have a little coaching move today that proves, Matt, would you say this is proof that God has a sense of humor, the coaching news we're going to talk about on the other side as we get into some phone calls? Would you say this is proof?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. We're not going to give it away. Some of you know, but we're not going to give it away. Give it away now. We're going to take a brief timeout and come back, and then we'll get some calls in. We unpack what this could mean for Tennessee if they're able to get home with Jim Knowles after this.
It's the hottest postgame show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Score a TD every time with T3 Vodka. T3 is Tennessee's premium vodka, handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. T3 Vodka is taking the Volunteer State by storm. T3 Vodka, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains, where quality isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. Filtered 10 times and 80 proof. T3 Vodka delivers a smoothness that's unmatched. This dedication to excellence has already earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades. T3 is a 5-time gold medal winning vodka and the 2025 SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner. Whether you're sipping it neat or on the rocks or mixing up your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka is your choice for a premium, award-winning experience. Score a T3 TD and ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right, drink T3 Vodka, and score a touchdown every time. T3, Tennessee's premium vodka. Distributed by Athens Distributing Company. Please drink responsibly. When it's time for a fresh coat of paint, run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. Interior and exterior, Walker's Painting's been making it beautiful since 1999 across the Knoxville area. New construction, repaints, commercial, residential, free estimates available. And get this, mention you heard Walker's Painting on the Basilio Show, 10% off your first job. Let's go! Run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. 865-688-1410. That's 865-688-1410. Walker's Painting, making it beautiful since 1999. Check out the ad at the blog at tclub.team. Walker's Painting.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family-owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm going to hop online and I'm going to get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
Got a problem tree looming over your home? Call ECR Total Landscapes. Whether it's trimming, removal, or storm cleanup, our certified pros get the job done safely and efficiently. We're licensed, insured, and ready 24/7 for emergency calls. Big or small, we cut them all. ECR Total Landscapes. Call now for a free estimate, 865-384-2012, and mention promo code FANRUN for free stump grinding on any tree removal now through the end of the year. Also, visit us at ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Basilio here for Budget Transmissions. TGMD, the great Matt Dixon, took his Ford Escape to budget, and like our Gold Bullet back in the day, it was a total mess. And now, Matt's back in the game. He's got a new transmission, axle, wheel bearing, both radiator hoses, engine mounts, coolant hoses. I mean, his Ford Escape was about to escape to the junkyard, but he didn't begrudge it. He took it to budget, and now he's on his way back to Omaha. Budget Transmissions, over 30 years in business, conveniently located in Bearden. All extended service contracts are honored. A gold certified Repair Pal member. 865-584-4391. 865-584-4391. Budget Transmissions. Don't begrudge it. Take it to budget.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama ZZ approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and ZZ.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols.
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues. Every bet type you can imagine. Live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
VIP Play coming soon. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet. Hey there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty. The holiday season is here, and if your plans include unwrapping your new home, then take advantage of less competition and motivated sellers while others are out fighting over parking spots at the mall. Smart buyers are out snagging deals on great homes, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com. And as always, go Vols!
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville, Fanrun Radio.
Okay, so we welcome you, and you back. It is hour 2. We are breaking it down scientifically. We are moving right to left across your device. I'm going to have a guy to talk Philadelphia sports with. Matt, you know me. Am I going to be able to crack this Knowles guy? Because I'm pretty damn good at people when I try. Will I be able to crack
zero
that
chance.
Huh?
Zero chance.
He's going to
No
love
chance.
me. That guy will be eating out of my hand within 90 days. 90 days.
Yeah,
bruh.
you do that.
I will take him a throwback Randall Cunningham jersey, one that was gifted to me. I'll walk right over there. I will. What does it take to win your love from me? All right, Matt, let's laugh a little, and then we're going to go to the phones. And we got a set.
He is Andy Bernard approved, though. Apparently,
we have a set of 3. Oh, he likes The Office.
Well, he went to Cornell, so.
Oh, bang!
And was their head coach.
Bang! 3 love songs in a row. We've got some great calls coming up. I got a guy we haven't heard from in a while, Grant in Birmingham, who I love. Rod in Clarksville, a mainstay on the show. And then my boy Jordan, who was lower than a pig's belly yesterday, but higher than a kite right now. Let's go back to, before we go to our phones, Brian Hartman, news. Let's go to the news desk here. Make us laugh and make us giggle, Bri, because I want to congratulate the comrade who, thank God, isn't a big Rodney Garner fan, and Rodney Garner isn't a big comrade fan, thank God. But he did like one guy off our defense.
Well, it's really more about who you know.
Who you know.
It is what you know.
Yes.
And Tim Banks has been hired by Auburn to be the safeties coach. As he reunites with Alex Golish.
Matt, what was the safety play under Tim Banks here? What letter grade would you give that?
Did we have safety play under Tim Banks? I don't remember it.
By far, the best safety you had while he was here was a walk-on in Will Brooks. By far.
No offense, but comrade, you got to come to Knoxville. Well, how many plays do you think we attack them in the middle of the field with, Matt, and make smoke come out of the ears of Tim Banks up there in wherever he is?
I'm not going to get any smoke. The guy's been emotionless for 5 years here. I'm hammer the Auburn overs all early and often next season.
By the way, Matt said, and I did misspeak when I said take a step backwards. What I mean is people are going to think, we got Knowles, we're going to lock down the world. It's going to take a year. It just is. No matter what you do in the portal, it's going to take a year. So it just is. We gave you the good, the bad, and the ugly. I think this is a great hire if we'll be patient. If you jump the gun and judge next season on next season and make it a referendum and that's what you do, then you're going to overreact and freak out because chances are, based on this guy's track record, it's going to be uneven. You can't go backwards from Tim Banks. It's not possible. When we use the term flatliner around here, Tim Banks is lower than the flat line. He's the new safety coach. And, Matt, I'll bet he's got a handsome salary down there at Auburn. Doesn't recruit. I tell you this. I told you this when Comrade Golish was hired at Auburn. Some of you are really high on him. I'm not. I'm selling that higher. I'm not buying that higher. I'm selling that higher. Matt, I think you told me you were selling that higher too, right? When it happened. I don't think that's the right higher there.
I mean, not really. I think Summerall was their guy, and he was going to go there until Florida opened up, and that's kind of a 180 from that. But with where Auburn's been the past decade, it's a lot where Tennessee kind of was there when Heupel got here. So if you have a fun offense that scores a lot of points, win a game or two a year over somebody that matters. To get things stabilized, that's kind of what their goal is. But I don't see him making the playoffs at Auburn, which is ultimately what they want to be.
But he's a mini Heupel, Matt. He's not a real Heupel. He's they don't put the points on the board that Heupel was doing at Central Florida.
No, but he's been pretty good at USF. I mean, offense isn't the problem.
Or South Florida.
I think Navy scored 40 on them. I think Navy beat them twice down there. Like he never won the American. But it's a fun, exciting offense, and so that's just kind of what it is. Is it going to make playoffs? Probably not. I mean, maybe he sneaks in there one year if everything kind of falls into place. But I mean, he does keep DJ Durkin, so he at least has a little bit there to work with. But
DJ Durkin's going to turn around and look at that Banks guy and say, "What the hell are you doing?" And it's going to happen pretty damn quickly.
Can't say that.
No offense. God, Matt was getting ready to go there. He says he can't say he's self-adjusted. But maybe we can pull it out of him in the third hour. I self-adjust from time to time. You can't see it, though. Hello and welcome into our first call. You're on the air. Welcome in.
What's up, Tony? Grant in Birmingham. My first thought on Goalish real quick, being down here and kind of following their stuff is I kind of feel like with some of his assistant coach hires, he's kind of following like the Pruitt, kind of like funny, kind of the Pruitt deal of like hiring some, quote, big names. Tim Banks, he was defense coordinator at Tennessee. He hired the Mississippi State defense coordinator who just got fired to be like his defense ends coach. He hired Cody Burns, who, I think Kelsey Pope has done a lot better job than Cody Burns did here. He was fine, but just like he's kind of hired a lot of names, and I don't really know is that going to really translate. I mean, you just have to have a staff of dogs. It's just so competitive in the SEC. And like Tim Banks, maybe all of our jokes aside, maybe as just a safeties coach, maybe he can turn around. But like again, our safety play was horrible for 5 years. Really, I mean, it is what it is.
Worst unit.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, like I said, I'm kind of with Matt. I think the combo of Goalish and Durkin, like I do think there's plenty of potential there, but I've been a little surprised at kind of the staff he's put together. That I think I just saw across like this morning too. They hired like to be the running backs coach, Larry Porter, the guy that was the coach at Memphis, and it was a complete debacle there about a decade ago. Again, like a big name, former head coach, but it's like, is he really going to be hungry? Going to come in there and we'll see, but. Really, I was going to hit a couple things on the DC hire, and Matt kind of stole my thunder a little bit. But like, I think one big thing you got to look at is people are going to be, fixated on it and whatnot about Ohio State and his top 5 defense at Oklahoma State. But like, we don't need a top 5 defense. We need a 20 to 40 defense every year, and it's just hard for me to believe with the track record this guy's had that. That he cannot come in here and do that and like do it pretty consistently. I just think that, and again, last year we kind of needed, and I don't remember exactly what we were last year, probably 10 to 15. We don't need a true like elite defense, and obviously we got it last year, and we did kind of need it to get to the playoffs. But again, if we can just have some consistent competency on that side of the ball, and then hopefully. Heupel keeps it humming. Hopefully we don't, which again, it's a year-to-year sport, but to me, the offense made a big step back this year to like what it should be. If you even just, like I said, if you paired this year's offense with a 20th ranked defense, I mean, I don't know how every game goes out exactly, but we're probably a playoff team. So I think that's number one.
Here you go, guys. At Penn State last year, this is first year now. This is going to be bottom of the mark. If he'd have stayed around, they would have gotten better. They averaged 21 points per game, giving up. It's 36th in the FBS. You could definitely live with that. They averaged 169 yards, rushing numbers. 23rd in the FBS. You could certainly live with that. They average 320 yards per game, giving up 36 in the FBS, 9th in the Big Ten. Those are numbers, guys. And Matt, your thoughts on Grant's point? We don't need this guy to be great. We need him to be pretty good. Those are pretty good numbers, actually.
Yeah, you just need to be competent, that kind of middle half of the SEC. If you're top 40, top 50 this year, this upcoming year, and then top 25-ish going forward, with occasionally maybe you do have a top 10 defense when you can, make an even deeper playoff run than just winning a game or two there. So yeah, you don't need to be some lockdown defense that paired with Heupel's offense. It's going to be really hard to have that elite defense when Heupel's offense is rolling. But if you have top 25 defenses, for 2 or 3 years, I'd gladly take our chances with Heupel's offense to figure it out in at least one of those years. So, you got to score points to win in the sport, even though it is kind of turning a little bit back towards defense a little bit. But yeah.
You like the concept, Grant, is what you're saying.
Yes, I do for sure. And my second thought I had is, and I get we're all emotional. It's easy to say this right now. Who knows where we're going to feel next September if, LSU and Lane come in here and roll a bunch of points on us. But I would hope, and this makes me think that, I know we've got all different opinions on Danny right now, but to me, you don't make this hire if you're not at minimum, you have to at least give 2 years to Knowles and Heupel together, barring some 2017 Butch Jones 0-8 SEC season. Like, I don't care if it's bad next year, maybe. And again, I'm not saying I want that. None of us want that. And people will be angry next year if we go 6-6 or 7-5 with a harder schedule. But you don't make this hire. You don't commit to a guy like this if you're not at least going to give him a second year, knowing how the system works, knowing it's complex, knowing you got to get the right safeties in there. And let's be real. That's my final point here in a second is it seems a little bit I've seen of it. You got to have safeties that can handle this defense. That's kind of the key to the whole thing. So again, I hope I'm not saying people aren't going to be emotional and mad at times during next season if we lose some games, but I would hope that big picture, we can all keep that in mind that to me, this is really a play for hopefully 2027, 2028, when you pair this, two, in my opinion, really high level minds on both sides of the ball.
Yep.
Combine that with, I know, and I'm with you on the high school recruiting is not as important as it used to be. You got to pair it together with the portal. But still, let's be real, great class coming in this year. And I think we've had some good pieces in the last couple of classes. I'm hoping, again, I understand how people are going to react. But to me, this is really a play for multiple years, because I don't think we're going to come in next year and immediately have a top 5 defense.
I think it's well put. No, it's well put. And on the way out, when you say safeties, do you mean the adjuster or do you mean the bandit?
I don't know. I know that whatever Caleb Downs is playing, obviously he's a freak, going to be a top 10 pick. But I just mean in general, because I saw something yesterday about a lot of times he's a big 3-high safety, and you switch the coverage. Which poor Tim Banks, we didn't switch coverage one time on a play. And I'm not even a football mind, and I can tell that. It's the most vanilla base defense ever. And I think that's going to be a big change. We can all joke aside, but it's going to be a big change. From all of a sudden, we're gonna have to think, and we're gonna try to make the quarterbacks think. We haven't made a quarterback think. We hadn't made a quarterback think in 5 years, besides when we had James Pierce coming off the edge.
You're one of my hoops guys, man, and I haven't heard from you, which tells me you're worried about our basketball team.
Well, Tony, I was on hold for 30 minutes Saturday night.
Darn it!
I understand after 90 minutes, I think I was about to be the next one, and I had some thoughts, but I'm going to hold. And hey, guess what, Tony? Next Tuesday night, friend of a friend, I think one of our other friends of the program is going to get me in. I'm going to sit down in Dannyland, down in the club level for the Louisville game.
I want to.
So that'll be my first ever. That'll be my first ever experience in one of these Dannyland high dollar spots. So I will call in Wednesday or Thursday next week after the game and give you my thoughts on both what I see in person and Dannyland. So anyway, love the show, Tony.
Jordan Love, thanks. Not Jordan Love, but Jordan Love. And Matt, you think he was talking about the adjuster or the bandit? Matt hates this. Matt hates this that I've got jargon now to talk about. 21 personnel, 22. Zero coverage. Bear. The
pistol was going to be your big off-season talking point this year until Nico left.
the pistol. Let's go back to the phones. I believe this is Rod in Clarksville who's up next with us. And by the way, 865-200-5402 if you want to mix hunt with us on a Thursday where it looks like Jim Knowles is the man of the hour. We're shifting focus here.
So
go ahead, Bri.
Penn State defensive back Elliott Washington II is entering the portal. He has 59 career tackles, 2 picks in his career. You think Tennessee should try to recruit him on the fact that his defensive coordinator for last year is coming south?
What's his PFF grade?
Yeah. And, Bri,
yank him up right now. Yank him up. Yank him up.
Was he an adjuster? Let's get our next call in, or a bandit. Hello and welcome.
Maybe he was an enforcer.
I don't think that's
what's his size, Matt.
Yeah, what's his size, Bri? Do you have it, Elliot? Do you have Elliot's size, Bri?
No, I don't.
Look
Look
Bri,
it up.
And interrupt
electric time 40. Do we have that?
Let's get. Did you say electric? Did you say electric as in Tim Banks? Now that is one thing that
the stopwatch stuff you can get. Not always accurate.
We got the electric 40 now. Go ahead, Rod. I'm sorry.
Boys. The first thing I want to say is Merry Christmas to y'all. Merry Christmas. I haven't talked to y'all since the Vandy game. I haven't, really, been calling because, it kind of broke my heart. But
I don't blame you.
I think at the time when I was watching the Vandy Tennessee game, honestly, I wanted Vandy's defensive coordinator right then. Mm-hmm. I just wanted him.
It's okay to covet thy neighbor's coordinator, man. It's all right, You're allowed to do that.
I mean, watching that game, I'm like, this guy is killing us. And he's young. We don't got to pay him a whole lot of money. Go get him right now.
Yeah. So what do you think of this? Good. Do you think this is a good development?
Oh, as far as the drill sergeant, yeah, we need the drill sergeant.
Yep.
If he has anything to do with David Cutcliffe and coach with him, this is exactly what we need. Y'all understand that we haven't had that drill sergeant mentality as far as a defensive coordinator since, who? Chavis?
Well, here's the thing, guys. When David Cutcliffe brings you to 2 stops, Matt, you know what that means? You can damn coach. And when you get the David Cutcliffe seal of approval, my understanding is those 2 guys remain in touch with each other. You can coach because David Cutcliffe ain't playing around with chopped liver.
I think the guest identified him and saying that he hadn't coached in the SEC yet. That's actually not right.
No, he wasn't a coordinator
at Ole Miss.
He wasn't a coordinator in the SEC, is what we said, Brian.
If he's been with David Cutcliffe twice, I don't care if he hasn't coached in the SEC. He's going to be good enough.
That's right.
This man is smart. He knows how to dissect stuff just like Heupel.
But he did coach with him
at Ole Miss. And what I'm hoping is our players that we had on our team last year, watching, Banks, they look at him and I'm like, dude, I knew this in the 8th grade. At least now we're going to get someone in there that can challenge them, that may pump them up, and they may feel better about themselves by being challenged. And of course, as far as the what Joe call it, what was the name that he gave it? The instigator. What was the name, Brian?
That's me. I'm the instigator. It's the adjuster. The adjuster's the safety.
Enforcer?
The adjuster.
The enforcer.
The enforcer. You know who his enforcer is this year when he comes? If he comes?
Brian's introduced a name. Brian, that's not one of his jargons, Brian, the enforcer. Don't put that out there.
There's still time.
It's either the adjuster, the bandit, or the jack.
Okay. The adjuster for him when he comes here, boys, is Polardi. Let's go. Go Vols.
Go! He means the Italian kid, Matt. Not Polardi. But Rod can't say the Italian names. Let's go back to the phones.
The kid at Penn State is a cornerback. He's 5'11", 199. So maybe
I don't want him.
I was hoping he'd be a safety.
I don't want him.
I
want their adjuster. Let's get Jordan in here, who's next with us on the one, the only. It's your Basilio Show. No, this isn't Jordan. This is my man in Dallas. Welcome in, Dallas.
Tony, Madison in Texas. Good to talk to you guys.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, guys, I called on Tuesday and, was talking a little bit about the Walters hire.
Yep.
And I got to say, I could not be any happier with this hire. To me, of the available coordinators, this is the best possible hire that you can make. Now, this is just one guy's opinion. Every coordinator hire is going to be a gamble. Yes. But if Walters was a gamble, a straight bet with juice, this is a VIP odds boost promo code Tony. Amazing hire.
I kind of agree with that. Now, like Matt said, with any of these hires, there's always risk. Kind of fit is he? How's he going to fit with the staff? Is he going to play nice? All that. But the football stuff, if we're patient with him, there's no question he's going to be very good because that's his track record. And he does have a track record.
He does. And, his resume speaks for himself, Tony. To me, this is a big pecker hire, and I think that's what we needed.
Yes.
What I really look at is, you kind of got two of the mad scientist guys on both the offensive and defensive sides of the ball, guys that are going to give you a game planning advantage. And I think, that still matters here in college football. I know it's all about money and talent. Look at what Indiana's doing. Okay. Clearly coaching still matters. And one of the kind of the knock-on benefits I'm looking for is we all saw the Ohio State game in the playoff. They put Heupel in a box like I've never seen before. What they do is a lot of three high safety and really, Knowles is one of the first guys to make three high safety a base look for his defense. That's what's been giving Heupel trouble for the last three years. Now, we did make some progress in attacking that and making teams get out of that last year, but I got to imagine that there's a lot of mutual respect between Heupel and Knowles. And I was reading an article when he came into Penn State. Now, I know obviously that didn't work out too well. That was a Franklin problem. But they were really looking at, okay, what is your honest assessment of our offense? How can our offense get better based on what you're seeing, Jim, from a defensive game planning standpoint? Tony, I think that, I know some people wish it was Walters. I don't understand that at all. This is a huge upgrade, big pecker hire. And I'm looking forward to it. We'll see what happens. Give the guy a little time, but we're going to have a better defense next year. I hate to break it to everybody who's being negative, Nancy. The defense will be better. So look forward to that.
Thank you, my man. Good talking to you. And I listen. Go ahead, Brian.
If an offense has a chance to practice against a defense that gives it trouble, it's eventually going to figure out and become better as a result, I think.
Matt, what about that? It's a really good point Madison brings up. Three excellent callers in a row there. And he calls this sort of a rather large package hire, which I've been accused of in the past. Matt, do you have a sense that this guy could help Heupel sharpen his game while they're doing what they're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. You should always be bouncing ideas off of each other in staff meetings, and you're not out on the road recruiting as much anymore. And then in the off season, bounce ideas off each other, and yeah, I think Knowles can be helpful in that regard with Heupel. So yeah, you can always, as long as you have a coach that continues to kind of evolve and tinker things and is willing to change and adapt to the sport. That's the only way to be successful. I do think, we've talked about how much parity there is in the sport and how there's the talent so spread out. I think assistant coaches and coordinators might matter more now than ever before because the margins are so small that a lot of these games come down to just 2 or 3 plays where you've got to have a guy in position or you have the right play called or you scheme something up. There's just so little margin for error that I think assistant coaches and coordinator hires might mean more now than ever before because you can't just out-talent somebody like you used to be able to.
Back to the phones we go, and that's why Tim Banks being a safeties coach in this league, it's like putting something between your cheek and gum and give you that full tobacco pleasure. Let's, without further ado, go back to our phones now. I don't know who the calls are because I haven't had a chance to screen these. So we're back to where we were, which is I don't know anybody's name. So let's get our next call in. As you heard, if you missed hour 1, we did a real unpacked job of a guy named Steve Hellwagon, who's very, very good. He's with the 247 site, Bucknuts up there in Ohio State country. And, he gave us a very balanced view. He thinks this is a very good hire. He thinks it's, he said that these guys got sideways with each other. Speaking of Ryan Day and the Philly boy, Jim Knowles. And he thinks Tennessee can get this thing done. He thinks it's going to be a very, very good hire for Tennessee, but it's going to take time. So I appreciate the balanced look, and I do want to shout out Columbus, who made that possible. He's one of Columbus's contacts up there, and as Columbus proved to us last year during the playoff game, he kind of knows from whence he speaks. But let's go ahead without further ado. And we'll get our next call in. Hi, welcome in. You are on your Tony Basilio Show on a, what is it? It's a Thursday, and we're halfway home. Hi, welcome in.
Hey, Tone. Look at you being nice to me.
Oh, boy. My timing is impeccable from time to time, man.
Come on. Look at you being nice to me. Yeah, I actually got to listen to the interview. He's a really good guy.
Really good. Sounds like a great guy. Yeah.
So, okay, on the surface.
Hang on a second here. Hey, Matt, do you think Columbus is going to be positive or negative on this hire, Matt? Before Columbus begins.
A little bit of both.
All right, go ahead, Columbus.
On the surface, this is a huge name, and it's a what the guy called it for me hire. And look, the guy's a well-regarded coach. He's a national championship defensive coordinator, and he's going to be a new voice in the building, like you guys just talked about. But if you dig a little deeper, there are red flags here, and I'm not a bad guy for saying that. I know you have certain people probably in the stream right now who are MFing me up and down because I'm not gun-ho on this. But a reminder that these same people were delusional about Joey Aguilar, were delusional about the football team this year, were delusional about Tony Vitello, and were delusional about what happened in the playoff game last year. All that being said, look, it's going to take 2 years. Does Josh Heupel have 2 years? And that's not personal towards Josh. Does any coach have 2 years in this climate, other than like Signetti? You got to make the playoff or you're dead, no matter where you're at. But
Matt, predict our fan behavior, because you and Jordan made a really good point about this. We don't need the guy to light the world on fire, but we don't need the guy to get lit on fire either, right? So it's kind of a two-way street, and I don't think the guy's going to get lit on fire unless we just can't find players in the portal, Matt, because we do have to find players. I don't think right now, and I'm not trying to be funny with you, Matt, but I don't think right now on our roster, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm proven wrong, but I don't think we have our adjuster, and I don't think we have our bandit on the roster. And Matt, do we have our jack on the roster? Do we have a jack on the roster, that hybrid?
Yeah, I think our Leos might be our best position on defense.
Okay.
We're really well there.
So that's good.
Do we have a jack of all trades?
So we have our jack, but we do absolutely have to get that adjuster, yes?
Yeah, they'll have somebody. Yeah, they'll have a safety that plays deep, yes. They'll have somebody. I don't know how good they'll be. But again,
Tony,
Knowles, even on his worst years in these year ones, is still better than what Banks was 4 out of his 5 years here.
And look,
so you're upgrading significantly.
It's a total upgrade. You just gave up 45 points in your building to Vandy, and it could have been 60. Mm-hmm. So it's an upgrade. There's no doubt about that. But guys, remember, Caleb Downs doesn't grow on trees. Mm-hmm. That guy's like a top 5 pick in the draft at the safety position, and safeties don't go in the top 5. Yep. He's a unicorn. But my only thing with him is, not my only thing, I have a lot of things, but my main thing with him is, I don't think he brings a lot of juice to your building. I don't think he brings a lot of energy, and I think that's what this program and most specifically this defensive staff need. I would have rather gone with a young guy, energetic guy that eats, sleeps, breathes football. And I'm not sure Knowles is that. He's 60 years old. Is he just collecting a check? I don't know. And trust me, I hope it works. Like, I'm not rooting against it. Of course I want it to work. But I'm trying to give people back to reality here a little bit, that this is no guarantee. There are red flags all over the place with this thing.
Now, a couple people in the chat are holding you accountable here, Mark, and I just want to share this with you. I thank you for helping us.
Oh, please do.
Well, negative. Colombo was pretty delusional about Nico a year ago, so he can talk about delusions. He knows delusions when he hears them.
Okay. Did I get to see Nico in the second year of an offense? Yeah. Nico wasn't great at UCLA. Who would have been? He got sacked like 700,000 times. Whatever. I've already said, yeah, he was a bust here. Got it.
Well, I mean, they're just over here. If we're all going, of course, I missed on this hire. I didn't know they were involved with this guy. So everybody has a bad day. But let's go back to what he said, Matt, which is he wanted kind of an energy guy and a change the culture guy. Matt, in your mind, is that important here? Is that worth discussing?
Yes, certainly. There's a lot of different ways Heupel could approach this. I mean, the job was just so much more attractive than when he took over, and he didn't really have much say in the hire to begin with.
Yes.
So he just needed to figure out what's the best complementary defensive philosophy or scheme with his offense, and then try to go find that guy, or just go out and get the best guy available and try to fix it and try to make it work kind of on the fly. And that's probably more the approach he took. But if he wanted to go the young up and comer with some energy, I think you could easily make the case for that.
I do believe, Mark, that Heupel was kind of floored last year with some of the stuff Ohio State was doing with him, because that's why you saw Nico run the way they did. Literally, it was the only thing they could do. Now, they didn't have Sampson available to them, which we all know, and the offense wasn't great to begin with. But I think Heupel was pretty intrigued with how bottled up Jim Knowles had him last year, obviously with great talent. I mean, there's no doubt about that. So, yeah.
Look, he is not – this is not going to be a guy that has personal relationships with these players. He's not bringing anybody from Penn State. He's not bringing any coaches from Penn State.
Yeah, I was told that.
That's not happening. Anybody that thinks they're going to raid the portal and get Penn State's defensive players, they're not coming with Jim Knowles. Nobody from Ohio State went to Penn State except like two low staffers.
That's right.
He doesn't have personal relationships with people, and that's fine. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And, as Steve said, they never said any of this stuff while he was there, but they MF'd him on the way out the door. Okay, I get it. But, it's not a situation where he's going to connect with players. He's there to cook up defenses, and that's what he's going to do. That's going to be it. And it's a huge, look, when he got hired by Penn State, it was the story of the offseason in terms of assistant coach hires. It made huge waves. Wow. They yanked Ohio State's defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And so he's got the pedigree, all that. I wish we were getting him 6 years ago. If you told me he was coming in with Heupel, oh my God, I'd be over the moon.
That would be incredible.
I don't know if you have 2 or 3 years to let this take hold. I don't know if he has that. Is this fan base going to be patient enough? If you're not in the playoffs, you don't matter. I'm sorry. The people listening to the show, you're going to watch the Music City Bowl, but nobody cares about that game. No one.
Well, you just said the people listening obviously if the people listening are watching the game, and we'll have thousands and thousands of people on Garza Law Fifth Quarter Fan Reaction, and I'm thinking about going down and doing the show live down there in Nashville somewhere. Obviously, somebody's going to be listening. What are you talking about?
But Tony, the game makes no difference on a national level. You're not making any way. Nobody's going to care about the result of that game with half either team in the portal. It's the playoff or bust in this era of college football.
You know what kids care about, Mark, in the portal? This is what you do. You're going way. I mean, you're going to mile a minute. Kids care about the money you're going to pay them and the opportunity they have.
Yeah.
Has this guy
So
proven?
let's get
has
our
this
money
guy
right and go
proven?
get some headhunters in there. I want stall thumpers on that defense.
Has this guy proven that he
go
can
do it?
That he can put guys in the NFL? Has he proven that?
Yeah.
Okay, well then it's a good hire.
But he go get some skull thumpers on that defense. No doubt. Talent trumps all. I don't care what scheme you're running. You got to have dudes.
Colombo, thanks for getting that guest. Your call, not so much, but getting the guest, you get a lot of credit.
All right, brother.
Thanks, bro. 8652. Is that a good way of putting it, Matt? I mean, the call, so. The guest was very good, though. I'm giving the guest 2 thumbs up. He's a 90. He had a good beat, and I could dance to him. Colombo's call, as we say
There's always questions about even good hires.
Sure.
And
I
Mark
think this guy's
is
a great
never
hire.
not afraid to ask those type of questions. So I respect that.
But Colombo's call, 6'7", 6'7", 6'7", 6'7", 6'7", 6'7", 6'7". We come back on the other side. If they can get home with Knowles, it's a huge credibility hire. It's a great hire. In terms of who you bring from Penn State or don't, look, the NIL's got to do its work. The coaches and hopefully they've talked some people into the portal already, and we don't have to go there. And then the question becomes, and Matt, I want your thoughts on this. I hear the term war chest being thrown around, which means they're going to go get a quarterback, an impact quarterback that can play. And I want to know if any names pop out to you. We take a brief time out and come back with more and get some more calls in after this. Are you currently a residential electrician? Would you like more benefits, better pay, more upside? What about a $3,000 signing bonus? Free company-paid health insurance, annual profit share, company vehicle, gas card, much more. Call Advent Electric today. Advent, known for their large commercial jobs around town, and due to high demand, they're adding additional roles for their residential department. Maybe you know a friend, family member that's a residential electrician. Spread the word. Email hr@adventelectric.com. hr@adventelectric.com. 865-588-0631 and ask for the Tony B 3K signing bonus. Advent Electric is hiring. You got to dream about buying some land and building on that land. Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contracting. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting.
College football fans, Chris Fowler here with the play call. This season, go for Dose with ice-cold refreshing Dos Equis. It's more than a single play. It's a mindset. Think of it as a 2-point conversion for real life. Taking the risk, making the bold move. Whenever we get the chance to go big, we take it. On the field and off, always go for Dose with Dos Equis.
Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis Lager Especial Beer. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Tony Basilio, and we are live once again with Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, you're out there on the field, 100 strong here in Knoxville. Talk to me. What's been going on with FC Alliance now that the weather's heating up?
We're out here for the first night of the boys' tryouts. We have over 400 kids that'll be here tonight
So a lot of exciting times right now for us. Our club team start at U9 and we go all the way through U19. We have over 1,000 kids that come from Chattanooga from the Tri-Cities that make all our teams and make this club what it is today. So we're excited about it. We finished the younger kids a couple of weeks ago. We just finished the girls last night, and now we're on to our older boys program as we speak right now.
And we're blowing and going in the Tri-Cities. Tell me about it.
We started FC Alliance North 1 year ago, and coming off the first year, we're the largest, most competitive club up in the Tri-Cities area. We just finished our trials last night. Looks like right now we will be well over 400 kids for the upcoming season. So great things happening up there. We've put our boys into some really good regional leagues. So we're excited about what the future holds for them and also our girls programs.
If you want more information, check them out at fcallianceknox.org. That's fcallianceknox.org. Chad Stockton, keep growing the beautiful game here in East Tennessee.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tony.
Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care. I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
The season of giving reminds us of what truly matters, community and connection. Hi there, Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. As the year closes, I wanted to take a moment to sincerely thank you, my Basilio family clients. Thank you for trusting me with your most important decisions. Whether it was finding your first home or successfully closing a chapter, your trust means everything. I look forward to new and continued relationships through the new year, and feel free to reach out to me at 865-694-5904 or nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and of course, go Vols.
Basilio here with my buddy, Connexial Kristen.
Hey, Tony. Good to see ya. Connexial builds fleet technology that helps transportation and logistics companies win big. Live GPS, easy ELD and compliance tools, AI dash cameras, and asset tracking, all backed by the #1 U.S. customer support team. Want a better playbook for your operations? Visit Connexial.com/Tony. That's KONEXIAL.com/Tony. Connexial, built for drivers, trusted by fleets, and proud Vol fans.
Tennessee just announced the word, the Knowles thing is official. That's great stuff. And as I said yesterday, today I got swerved on that deal, which I'm not alone. There were people, obviously, there was all kinds of chatter in the media about the guy at Washington. But it is what it is, and it is what it is. So this is a great day. I believe now that it's official, I believe it's a great step forward. We've been unpacking it all day. And we go to the phones at 865-200-5402. Now that it's official, look, I'm with Matt. Anytime you make a hire like this, it's risky. Anytime you bring a guy in that we know is a little bit on the polarizing side, it's risky. I love the fact that Josh Heupel is pulling himself out of his comfort zone and getting involved with a guy
that we know and he knows got sideways with his head coach at Ohio State. And a guy that's going to be pushbacky a little bit. I like that, Matt. I think that's a positive development. I
talked about that's what the program needs.
Yes, I love it. This is a jolt. Now that it's official, this is a jolt of juice.
Yeah, he didn't hire a buddy.
That's right.
He didn't hire a yes man. He went out and got out of his comfort zone to make a risky hire. I think he's, nobody gives him credit for that, but that's what everyone was calling for when Tim Banks got fired.
And then the other thing is that when I think about this, and then we go back to our phones, and we will do some overtime, although I do have an appointment today. I've got a doctor's appointment I got to get to. But so I'm only going to be able to do a half hour or so because I got to get across town. This deal here is either going to be boom or bust. That's the era we're in, though. I think it's a risk worth taking, though. But the whole sport is now boom or bust. I mean, if you think about it, 1 year ago, this Knowles guy was the defensive coordinator on a team that might be the best college football team we've ever seen. Yinzers. That was crazy last year. And obviously tied us in knots in the playoff game. I think it's interesting, Matt, that our fan base is divided over it. I would have thought there would be almost a near unanimous people loving the hire. But that just doesn't seem to be the case.
That's never going to happen.
Yeah.
People are going to find a way to bitch and moan about anything they want to. Like, your fan base is never going to be unanimous over any of this stuff.
That would have been the same if Walters had been hired.
Any fan base. Yeah. It is interesting, though. I like it. Back to the phones we go. 865-200-5402. We get as many people in as humanly possible. Dave Portnoy says the following: anybody saying Michigan had proof about the inappropriate relationship and hid it until yesterday, please DM me your address so I can add you to our class action lawsuit I'll be filing for slandering the Michigan man trademark. I'll see you in court, suckers. You talk about a guy that is
playing the bit,
is bored with himself. But let's go back.
Playing the bit well.
Let's go back to our phones, our unsponsored phones. Hi, you're on the air. Welcome in.
Yeah, you got to definitely give Portnoy credit. He's committed to the bid.
Committed, Joshy boy. He's committed.
Yep.
Under wings.
Frank the Tank is committed to the bid.
Yep. He's in shambles after Pete Alonso went to the Orioles.
Go!
Yep. So, yeah, I'm kind of with Colombo. I'm going to give Knowles the benefit of the doubt and hope it works out, but I didn't want an older guy. I wanted Walters, but I'm going to give Knowles the benefit of the doubt because we saw what he did at Oklahoma State, Penn State, Ohio State. He had really good defenses. Let's hope, like Colombo said, that our fans give him time because it's at least going to take 2 years for him to get his players in and put in.
Well, and he's seen everything. He's been in every major Power 4 conference. He's coached in it, so there's nothing that's going to trick him that he's never seen before.
You still got to have a competent defense in year one, which I think you're going to. I mean, you're not going to be terrible. And yeah, you can take off in year two and going forward, but you've got to still put a competitive defense out there next year, which I have no doubt he's going to, just given his track record. But you've got to attack this portal. He's got to evaluate the roster and see what Tennessee has, what players fit what he wants to do, and then go out and find some guys who can fill all the many needs we have on that side of the ball.
But with his first year in, guys, does the tough schedule worry you any next year?
What was that?
The tough schedule, does it worry you?
In his first
with
season
being
in DC.
I mean, yeah, you're playing 9 league games. That's all, going to be pretty tough for everybody in the league, not just Tennessee. But I think half your league schedule will have a first year head coach also. So, and it'll be their first time in those spots. So, you just got to trust that it works out. The guy's obviously a really knowledgeable coach. You just hope that he fits in with the rest of the staff and you can find some players. That's obviously the key. We just don't have, upper that high end SEC talent on defense we just haven't had that, and definitely haven't had it production wise.
That was on my list. One of the things Josh Heupel needed to do, fire Banks and hire DC. My other thing is I want him to demote Halsley and promote Luttrell. Do you guys think that's a decent chance of happening, of him promoting Luttrell to OC?
This hasn't been